About 4 months ago, I went to North Korea. It's called the DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea when you're there. You can only refer to it as Korea or the DPRK.
We begin tonight with that breaking news. North Korea's latest efforts at launching a missile test, reportedly falling short, exploding after liftoff.
North Korea on parade to commemorate its founding father. But as tensions grow, will there be an act of defiance against the West?
Kim Jong-un. He's unpredictable, critics say vain and vindictive, with an expanding nuclear arsenal.
The most common questions are, did you feel safe while you were there? And to be honest, yes, we felt completely safe. There's loads of rumours going around, especially at the moment with recent events that have happened, that it's very unsafe to go to the DPRK. If you're an American citizen, okay, at the moment it's not recommended. However, as a normal tourist, we didn't feel unsafe, we had no problems, we had no issues, etc. It just felt like a surreal experience, but normal, if that makes any sense. People keep asking me, yeah, but you've just seen the propaganda, what they want you to see. That is true, definitely, to some extent. We did get the glorified tour. We saw 1 million weddings. We saw soldiers walking around the streets. We saw lots of happy people generally. But we did also see a lot of the poverty. We saw a lot of the poor people. We saw how bad condition the roads were in, etc. I've travelled around the world. I've been to South America. I've been to most of Southeast Asia. I've been to China, etc., USA. I've seen poverty at its worst and its best. In North Korea, to be honest, it wasn't much different. The pre-tour meeting was very relaxed. It basically consisted of rules and regulations, what you can and can't do while you're in the DPRK. And basically, the most we got out of it, the main thing they told us, is that there's rules and there's a law. If you break the law, basically you're buggered. There's nothing they can do for you, or very little they can do for you. However, if you break the rules, every now and again you'll just be reminded not to and you'll be fine. A lot of people seem to be also under the impression that these type of tours is just full of alcohol. You will see in this documentary that we're on the bus having fun, singing along, and yes, we were drinking alcohol, but none of us were really out of control, or like we were just tipsy, we weren't drunk, we were just having a good time. It did occasionally get to the point where you were thinking, well, I'm in the DPRK, you've just got to calm down now, but we weren't doing anything that we shouldn't have been doing. Scenes you'll see later in the documentary on the bus look like that, but we were just having a good time and happy. It's nothing to do with being drunk and disorderly, etc. So here we are, boarding flight. Pyongyang, can't wait, excited. After the pre-tour meeting in Beijing the next day, basically we went to the airport alone, and then when we got to the airport we had to meet our local tour guide, who was basically going to show us what to do and check in. We had to check in at the Air Koryo desk, which was really straightforward. It wasn't anything different to any other airline in the world. The only weirdest thing was there was a hell of a lot of cargo. I've never seen so much cargo. People bringing boxes and boxes and boxes. But everything in Beijing airport was exactly like you'd expect for any other flight. The only kind of good thing was when we got to the boarding gate, of course, there were North Koreans flying back to North Korea, so that was the first time we got to see them. They were really kind of reserved people. They wore these little badges with the two leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, on them, but that was it. They were staring at us a lot, but that was it. They weren't really making any emotions, smiling or anything. You maybe got a tiny bit of a smile, but that was it. But then, yeah, the flight itself, to be honest, it was like any flight I've ever done my entire life. You knew you were going to North Korea, so there was a certain buzz in the air, but the flight wasn't anything special. It was a Tupolev 214, I think it was, or 240, something like that. And it was just basically like any other airline, 319 or Boeing 737. It wasn't anything sort of out of this world. And the flight itself felt normal. At one point during the flight there was an announcement made just saying that we're going over North Korea. However, when you looked out the window, it just looked like anywhere else in the world. There wasn't anything special. It was only once you actually landed in Pyongyang, kind of the excitement built up, and that was it. You kind of realised, shit, I'm in North Korea, you know, it was like that type of thing. But it was really good.
So that's the airport. Pyongyang.
On arrival in Pyongyang, the airport itself was a very modern airport, exactly just like anywhere else in the world. It was just an airport, basically.
So, I've arrived at Pyongyang Airport. Here I am. Pyongyang, North Korea. Made it.
The only thing different about this airport, after we'd done immigration, which was just like any other country, the customs was a completely different experience. We had to wait forever for our bags to come off the belts, and then going through customs itself, there was quite a big queue, and it took forever. They wanted to search your phones, they wanted to see data cards, they wanted to see computers. With me, they took me to the side and just examined my computer. All they wanted to see, though, was the video files on there to see what I had. I could have easily had something hidden anywhere else. I didn't, but that's the way it was. Once we got through customs, we got to meet our local guides, which was really nice, and we were reunited with the rest of the group that flew in. A bit later on, the train, people coming by train would be there as well at the train station. When we left the airport, that was basically our very first look into North Korea. I was expecting it to just be kind of like crap, you know, just roads and like a 25-minute journey to Pyongyang with nothing to see. But literally from the minute we left the airport, we saw the people walking about the streets, doing their everyday lives, day-to-day business, shopping, cycling, etc. It just looked normal to us.
So you can just only remember the back numbers of the number plate, 95. There is our bus. Yeah. If the Joshua is coming by train, we will put our allergy. Yeah. Anyone who can speak Korean? He can speak only greeting, 안녕하세요. Right? Yeah. So in Korean, the good morning, good afternoon, good evening are the same.
A lot of people might say that this is stage fear, it's propaganda, etc. But what a lot of people are actually forgetting, there's 24 million people live in this country, and of course they have to do their everyday lives, they have to do shopping, they have to cycle. They're not just going to set up loads of people for us just to make it look like they're happy with 24 million people in the country. I mean, come on, yeah. We were getting a commentary, obviously, by Miss Kim, who was our lead guide. She was telling us all about what Pyongyang was like, how many districts it has, etc.
So Pyongyang has 18 districts and 2 counties. So this district, we call it Yeonmo-dong district, because on the left side there is a big pond, Lotus Pond. So named after that Lotus Pond, we call this district Yeonmo-dong district.
As we were going to the centre, one of the guys said, "Is it possible that we can stop off and get some beers on the way?" And I was thinking, no, they're not going to let you have beers on the way into North Korea, into Pyongyang. And the lead guide, Miss Kim, she said, yeah, no problem, we'll stop off at a hotel and we'll get you some on the way to the train station to pick up the rest of the group. We stopped off at this hotel and we literally got to just stand in a little place and we got to see a few locals, which was really amazing because it's the first time you're in North Korea.
Welcome to Pyongyang. It's our tour bus, another taxi. Just bought from the lady in the shop. I've just bought all this for about €1 and 30 cents. Exceptionally cheap. Snacks and George.
After leaving the hotel, we then went to the train station to pick up the rest of the guys. However, their train was delayed 30 minutes, which was brilliant for us because we were left in this square and it was literally loads and loads of North Koreans just walking about doing their everyday life, etc. And we got to get off the bus and just like wave to the locals, smile at them, chat to them, etc. Obviously none of them spoke a word of English or any other language except Korean, so we were pretty buggered there. But yeah, we got to speak to them and everything. It was really good. At one point I was filming and like a soldier whistled at me and told me to stop filming, so I got a little bit scared, but that was it. It wasn't really a big issue or anything like that. The train arrived and then the rest of the group came here, so we were all together, all 19 of us, and we were on our way to the hotel. The hotel itself, it was a Yonggakadu or whatever, however you pronounce it, I can't pronounce it, the Yonggakadu or something. And in this hotel, we could go anywhere we wanted. We could even go within a few meters of the hotel, do what we want. It was very kind of controlled though, the hotel. Like, they reported everything back to the guides, what we were doing. There was even a couple on our group, Nats and George, a teaspoon went missing from their room. So they were told that they had to either replace a teaspoon or pay for a new one. And then on the evening, we got to go to the basement and have as many beers as we want. One guy got really drunk, but that's another story. And he tried to take a taxi into Pyongyang, which is completely like not allowed, but he didn't get into major trouble for it. But the rest of us, we were drinking, but we were all like tipsy. It wasn't like we were off our heads or anything like that.
How much for to go inside?
1 hour. 1 hour is 20.
How much for 1 hour?
20 RMB.
Yes, for everybody.
Per person, 20, 20, 20 or 21? 20. Right.
Let's do it, yeah, 100%. Okay. 100%.
Yeah, please.
All right, you're the champ, so you can pay. I got 7.
Downstairs was like a ping pong room, there was a snooker room, there was loads of shops, there was a karaoke room, there was a bowling alley, like I think it was a 4-lane bowling alley, something like that. So we could have real fun on the night. The only weird thing about these rooms is that it was full of staff. Each room had about 2 staff. But it was as if they were waiting just for us, because we were the only people in the hotel. So we are in the ping pong room. And this is a ping pong lady. Oh, he's filming me.
David. Do you have any other type of material?
We're going to play next game.
Exactly.
We're going to play next game. Because, you know, we're winners. We're going to play next game. So, winners stay on.
Surf back.
Apparently he's just like world champion or something.
Oh! Oh! How do we score? How do we score? Because it should be between David. Oh! All right. I'm a Chelsea fan, so I don't know what's going on.
Big difference.
Oh! I'm sorry, I like it when you miss. I like it when she misses.
Why?
Did I win? No, you hit it on your side. You hit it on your side.
This way. Where are you from? From my girlfriend.
Nice. Well, London, I'll keep this good.
So yeah, we had a few drinks that night. We went to bed at about 2 a.m. and then the alarm clock was set for 6 in the morning. And as you can see in the next clip, yeah, this is how it was. I was tired, but excited at the same time. Excited, so that was good. This is the morning after the night before. Just woke up in Pyongyang, but it's worth it because this is the view. Look. That's the sunrise over Pyongyang. Not bad, eh? But the hangover, it's getting better. I think I'm still drunk. Good night last night.
Well, I can see the
we
skyline.
solved a mystery.
I can't see the pyramid.
It was so beautiful.
It's
Just like
floor is
this morning, the
floor for
sunset.
communication and TV
sunrise, I should
broadcast.
say.
Oh my god.
What's up?
So the next day we woke up and we went straight for breakfast, and it was basically, the breakfast consisted of, well, to start with, it was cabbage and loads of other random shite. I was like, okay, but it was different, it was unique, whatever, okay, fair enough. It was North Korean food. The food for me on the whole trip wasn't the best, but I'm a fussy eater, so that was completely different. We then went very early to the DMZ. It took about 3 hours to get there from Pyongyang. The DMZ is a demilitarized zone. It's basically where North and South Korea meet. Even though it says demilitarized zone, it's the most heavily guarded border in the entire world between two countries. The journey to the DMZ I can only describe as severe turbulence. It was literally like bumpy, 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 bumpy for the whole way, because the roads were not in the best condition. They weren't very tarmacked, they had loads of concrete, holes in them, etc. The DMZ for me in particular was one of the better experiences because I was there about a year before, in February 2016. I went to Seoul, and as part of a day trip from Seoul for about 70 euros, so 80 US dollars, you can do a day trip to the DMZ. The day trip is from about 7 AM till about 5 PM, and it basically consists of, you go for about an hour up to the North Korean border. You see a park, you see Dorasan Station, which is the last station in South Korea. There's also a little sign up there which states that it's not the last station from the south, but it's the first station towards the north, obviously hinting at a reunification. The DMZ tour from the south, believe it or not, was actually more stricter from the north. From the north, it was basically, yeah, take a picture here, take a picture there, do what you want, you know. If we tell you not to take a picture, please don't take it. But to be honest, I can't remember them ever saying don't take a picture.
So here I am, technically in North Korea.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, do not point, gesture, or communicate towards North Korea at all. If I ask you to see your phone, please just go along.
Stay in the line, please. Okay.
Our tour guide from the south, she was very happy. She was like really overexcited and enthusiastic, and she was telling us horror stories, but with like excitement and enthusiasm. So that was a bit weird.
So, if you want to put it in your pocket and go ahead, okay? All right? Okay. Okay,
So visiting the DMZ from the north, of course, as I said, was quite relaxed. There was a soldier there to guide us around. He didn't speak a word of English, so everything was translated by the guide, and she did a great job of doing that. The soldier, however, he kind of like kept wanting to speak to me because I made it clear that I'd been to the south the year before. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. The North Koreans don't mind if you visited South Korea, that's not an issue at all. But he wanted to know in front of the entire group what the South thought of the North. And of course, this is my second day in North Korea. I'm not going to say anything controversial or anything. And of course, the South Koreans did say a lot of negative stuff towards the North, you know. They have a propaganda village, there's nobody there. Whether it's true or not, nobody knows, you know, that's kind of a completely different matter.
I'm not allowed to go further than this though.
line. You know, this line. So this is information. If you need to find the exchanger, that's the place.
Is that a lovely tour guide?
Afterwards, we got taken into a room where they signed the armistice agreement back in 1953 when the war ended. So we basically got to see the book, we got to see the flags from both sides and the actual document which was signed, and the book, of course, which relates to that. So that was a really interesting experience for us. And of course, even though the war ended in 1953, they still are technically at war, but of course it's a peaceful war for now.
오시라고 수고 많았습니다.
Okay, so welcome to the DMZ.
오늘 여러분들의 참관 안내를 제가 맡아서 해드리겠습니다.
So he will explain about the DMZ military demarcation line to you.
지도를 먼저 보시겠습니다.
So first we're going to see the Korean map. So on the map you see the black line. There is the military demarcation line which was made by the United States.
군사분과선의 총 연장 길이는 257km입니다.
The total length of the military demarcation line is 257 kilometers.
군사분과선으로부터 북과 남으로 각각 2km씩 비무장지대가 형성되어 있습니다.
So 2 km north and the 2 km south of the military demarcation line is the demilitarized zone.
저 건물에서는 종전 후부터 1991년까지 12,000여 차례의 각종 회의들이 진행되었습니다.
So inside the building, the 12,000 talks were held after the ceasefire until March 1991.
회의를 통하여 우리는 미국의 새전쟁 도발 특동과 종전협정 위반 행위들을 폭력으로 탄하였습니다.
So when we have meetings, we condemn the expose the new war-provoking acts of the United States against the Republic.
미국의 종전협정 위반 행위는 판문점 사건과 푸에블로 사건을 비롯하여 종전 후부터 1991년까지.
Can we say hi? Hello. Hello. Oh no. Sorry. Just film.
After the DMZ, we went to a place called Kaesong, and I don't mean to sound ignorant or uneducated, but we saw loads of old ruins, buildings, etc. The guide did give us a good description. However, I'll be completely honest and say that I really don't know what it was all about, because I was too buzzed up from the DMZ that I wasn't really paying attention. I was just filming, I was just seeing what I could see. But yeah, this is Kaesong.
What do you think? The woman is beautiful than... They built another Songyongbar in Seoul. So I graduated Pyongyang Tourism University in Pyongyang. So buildings and the trees are also 1,000-year-old now. And these are two ginkgo, like the ginkgo trees. You know the ginkgo trees? I think women are
more
skinny,
curvy.
more curvy. So the woman like dynasty, like from the 9th and 10th century. So actually the ginseng century they decorated on the cylinders. Actually, the pine trees, trains, they are showing the longevity.
60%짜리 인상술의 벤츠입니다.
3명이 안 나온 것 같은데?
같은데 포장이 조금 요건
It's feel like another part of Korea. It's cool. You know, like Russia just give them like rifles, and this is like it's huge.
After Kaesong though, however, we went up to a place called Sariwon, and this was really good. It was a nice little village about 1 hour south of Pyongyang, and it was just a really good atmosphere there. We saw a traditional Korean wedding. Of course, some people might say this was set up for us, etc. I don't care, I don't know. Maybe it was set up, maybe it was not, but we saw what we were led to believe was a traditional Korean wedding. Everything looked authentic. The reaction in the bride and groom, etc. looked authentic. We got to go to the top of a mountain, and we also got to see the view of the city. Of course, the city looked very communist, you know, a lot of old buildings with bright colours on to make it look better, but that's to be expected in North Korea. The one thing we did see though is just normal people living their everyday lives, and it didn't seem set up to us at all. There's no way they can suddenly just get thousands and thousands of people and say, make it look like you live in this village and be happy. You know, that's just not going to happen. But yeah, anyway.
So I've left everyone in the restaurant because this is much more exciting.
Don't mind me.
So these are...
You told them, yeah?
I didn't told them. Glutinous rice cake.
Oh, rice.
Yeah, there's a rice cake and the makgeolli, the fermented rice wine. So the each person costs 7 renminbi.
traditional.
Tradition? Oh wow, very traditional, yeah.
Just backside.
Fire! Yes! Hi!
Not? Okay, I think it's better than here.
Oh. We can take photo, okay? Jump? Oh, okay.
Jump up
Oh, they balance.
up and down.
Oh. Yeah.
On the second night we went to a restaurant, and one thing we got to learn is that with every restaurant you had your meal, whatever it was, and then at the end of the meal the waitresses would always do about 3 or 4 songs. On our second day in the DPRK, we first of all got up in the morning and went to the mausoleum where the bodies of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are currently lying in state. Unfortunately, there was no photography, no filming allowed. Literally, all we could have was a packet of tissues in our pockets, and that was it. So I'm going to have to describe it the best I can, but we met up 7 a.m. Eventually, we got there at 8 a.m. We then had to do a very formal procession, kind of marching towards the mausoleum itself. Then we had to go on what's called a travelator, which is basically a moving platform which takes you about 15 minutes into the mausoleum, to the building itself. The building itself was very, very elaborate. It was probably the most modern building we'd seen in the whole time we were in Pyongyang. We got to see the body of Kim Il-sung. We had to bow 3 times, once at the front, twice to the left and right of the coffin. Then we went downstairs and we saw the body of Kim Jong-il, and we did exactly the same, bowed to the front, the left and the right of his coffin, showed our respects. And then afterwards we got a tour of the rest of the mausoleum, but it was kind of more like a museum. It showed the train he died on, the boat he used to sail in, the cars they used to use. After leaving the mausoleum, basically we could go outside of the mausoleum. That was when we were free to take pictures again and videos. We got a group photo together outside of the mausoleum, and there was a frozen river nearby, and that was literally it. There wasn't anything further to see there. We went to the Juche Tower, which is basically the Juche ideology. You can Google that if you want more information. We went to the top of the tower. We could basically film anything we want. We were there for a good 15 minutes or so. It only cost about €5, $6 to get to the top. But the one weird thing was, at the bottom of the Juche Tower, it was full of flies. There was like flies everywhere, like buzzing around. They weren't wasps or bees or anything, they were just flies. One of the flies actually got into the eye of one of the girls, and she had an infection for a couple of hours. It wasn't anything to worry about, it went away, whatever, but it was just full of flies. The weirdest thing was, the area around here was very clean. It wasn't full of rubbish, dirtiness, etc. It was just very clean, so it was like, why are the flies everywhere? But yeah, they were there. After the Juche Tower, we went straight to another restaurant for some lunch. The lunch was in an embassy area full of embassies close by from various different countries. And then in the restaurant, of course, we had our lunch, and then at the very end of the lunch, the waitresses were singing again. They were singing a song to start with called Pangang Sumina. I think it's something like that, and it basically means pleased to meet you in Korean. And this song seemed to be like the recurring song throughout the whole trip. Everywhere we went, we heard Pangang Sumina. went straight to the museum, which is basically the Korean War Museum, or if you can subtitle it, it would be called the Anti-American Museum. The Anti-American Korean War Museum basically consisted of an outdoor area which featured captured helicopters, aeroplanes from the Korean War, and of course the US captured helicopters and aeroplanes were almost beyond recognition. You could barely recognize what was left of them.
The symbols of these weapons were used in the Second World War, and they were used in the Korean War, so they were met down by a female aircraft hunting team. So it was shot down by a crane. So during the Korean War, this fighter was mostly used to drop the jump bombs. So they dropped more than 1 bomb per person. Where you see here, the small bomb is 50 kilograms.
We then got to go and see the USS Pueblo ship, which was captured in 1968 by the North Koreans. It's now resting in Pyongyang in a very dry dock.
So this Pueblo was built in 1944 and used as a transportation ship. So Pueblo means people in Spanish. Is it right?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
And at that time, the aliens went back to their countries to represent and here.
Electric shocks. Is this jacket? This jacket like creates static electricity like on everything. It's so bad.
After seeing the US Pueblo ship, we got to see the museum itself. It was a very anti-American museum. Basically, there was like waxworks of dead American soldiers on the floor with like birds eating away at their bodies and stuff like that. At the top of the museum, there was like a revolving panoramic picture. It was about 10-15 minutes long or something, and it had loads of special effects like lighting effects, sound effects, etc. But to be honest, by this point, we were using that as a place to sleep. Most of us were just sleeping around it because we were so exhausted. It was literally like get up at 6 a.m. every morning and be in bed by about 1 a.m.
About you now, and all the roads that lead us are fucking bumpy, and all the lights that lead us there are not switched on tonight. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. Know if you'll be my girl.
Why did you choose to come to the DPRK? Any reason?
Yeah, one sort of reason.
What?
It was either DPRK or Spain.
Fair enough.
No, I would like to say just something short and sweet. Of all the groups that we could have had, I think we personally had the best one. No one got in any trouble, except for 1 or 2 people, and I'm not going to name names. We all know who they were.
Nope, names.
But yeah, guys, it's been a great experience. I'm glad I spent my birthday here with y'all, so thanks for that. Into the tour guides.
Yeah!
From now on though, on the evening it started to get really bad. I know a lot of people are going to think, okay, they were drunk, disorderly, blah, 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 but this was not the case at all. It wasn't due to alcohol, but many of the group towards the last day, they got really sick, and we think it was some sort of food poisoning. As it got towards the last day of the tour, I personally felt great. I was fine, no problem, but a lot of the people on the tour were very ill. Even one of the guides herself, Miss Parr, she was really ill. She even had to stay in the hotel for a bit because she just couldn't continue, which is fair enough, of course, she's only human. The statues themselves were very impressive. They were unbelievably big and in a really nice environment. The local people were coming to pay their respects to Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Originally it was just Kim Il-sung in the square, and since Kim Jong-il died, they made a statue in his honor as well. We went to a university in Pyongyang, and the very first thing that we saw was people just doing their business on computers. However, it was using Windows 95, which is almost 20 years old, so that was a bit weird to kind of see, going back in time a little bit. The weirdest thing overall was the fact that we could go into classrooms where people are learning whatever subjects they're learning, whether it be English, geography, maths, history, whatever, and we could just film them and take photos like they were kind of on display for us. It was just strange. The good thing is, towards the end we were allowed to do a bit of interaction with the students. We could like get on the microphones and speak to them. So this is basically what happened.
My name is Damien. I am from Ireland. Do you know where Ireland is? Yes. Which country is it next to? Yes, that is correct. I am from Dublin. Yes, which is the capital of Ireland. But have you been there?
Oh, it's been sunny the whole time I've been here, so that's good. Bit cold, because in Australia it's very hot. So much colder than I'm used to. Although I live right down the bottom of Australia, which can get pretty cold. But
when we were in the English class, it was really weird because the teacher herself, she acted like we were not there. We tried to say thank you, smile at her, whatever, but she just didn't want to know. She was like really weird. I don't know.
I think the best part of school is like this. No, actually not.
So they know the numbers and they know which line they're going to stand. And there are 4 government buildings: the Cabinet, Ministry of Forestry, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And these 2 buildings is the Korean History Museum and the Korean Art.
광장으로 들어서고 있습니다. 김성철 육군 상장의 지휘차를 따라 광장에 들어서는 땅크 장갑차 정대. 천철명장의 설하에서 역사의 모진 시련과 온갖 도전을 짚으시며 세계적인 군사강국으로 솟구쳐오른 백두산 대국의 백승의 기상이 노도쳐 전진하는 저 기계화 정대 무쇠 철마마다리에 용솟음칩니다. 이 장엄한 철의 대우를 바라보며 선군의 총대를 높이 지켜드시고 역사의 폭풍우를 뚫고 자립적 국방공업의 발전을 위해 만난 시련을 헤쳐오신
안녕하십니까.
The traffic ladies of Pyongyang, there's both men and women, but predominantly women. And these people basically just stand there and they guide the traffic all day, but in a very militant, very assertive, authoritative kind of way. One thing we did get to do, which kind of, it sounds boring, but it was really, really cool, was to see the underground in Pyongyang. They've got an underground system, which is basically 2 lines, I think it is, and we got to ride on that, and it was old Berlin trains. Every carriage has a picture of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in the carriage.
You should.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
So, everyone excited about the book crawl?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Woo!
Yeah! They're not that excited, are they? Well, I'm playing bowling in, oh yeah, DPRK. Everyone's having fun.
Yeah. Hey, you up, Nat?
Hi.
Machine stole my strike. Hit or miss.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hello. How do you say Mark? Good morning.
The tour for us, it was called the St. Patrick's Day tour, but as we were all feeling a bit ill, we didn't really do much. We did about half of the bars we were supposed to do, but to be honest, none of us really cared about that because we'd seen Pyongyang, we were here to see North Korea, we weren't here to drink and do a St. Patrick's Day tour. We were just there to see North Korea as it was. So of course that was the main thing. Afterwards, the next day, my friend who I was traveling with and one of the other guys from the group, we went to Sinuiju, which is in the north. The train journey itself, to be honest, I don't remember much about because I was literally exhausted because we've been up at 6 a.m. every day, getting into bed at 1 a.m. every day, but it was just tiring. It was like go, 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 go. The first thing we did really see was a waterfall, a frozen waterfall. However, I was exhausted, so I just went back to the hotel room and I slept for 2 hours because I needed it. I just needed sleep. The very next day, we went to Sinuiju Center very early, but we were staying in a place which wasn't Sinuiju. It was called Dongrim, so that was about 1 hour away from Sinuiju. When we got to Sinuiju, we got to see not that much. We got to see loads of mosaics and statues of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il. We got to see a factory where they make soap. We got to see another art museum. We got to see the Kim Il-sung Square with more statues of Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung.
see outside.
Nice.
It's a strange thing.
Yes.
Just Russian. Is there any, mark? No, I haven't seen this one. I'm not sure.
But the highlight of Sinuiju was basically we got to see a children's show. Before we left North Korea, we stayed on a place which of course separates North Korea and China. We could stand on the North Korean side and take photos or videos or whatever in China. The funny thing was, people on the Chinese side would pay us 7 or 8 euros to come to the half bridge, which is in China. It was destroyed during the Korean War. The North Korean side is gone, but the Chinese side still stands. It's literally halfway across the river. They would pay about 7 or 8 euros just to see us on the North Korean side. However, on the North Korean side, there's like nothing to see. It's just boring. It's just buildings and that's it. There's no propaganda, there's no people. It's just buildings, it's nothing. The next day, we got to stand on the Chinese side once we were back in China and see North Korea from the Chinese side. And of course, to us, it was mega boring because we'd been there, we'd seen that, we'd done it, whatever. But it was just really cool because we could be on China and say we've actually been there on that side to North Korea. Overall, the experience in North Korea was amazing. It was great. It was fantastic. Personally, I think it's a safe tour. I would go again if I had to. I've got no problems with that. But if you're an American, it's probably not safe. You're risking your life. As much as I love North Korea, I think it's a great place to visit. I would definitely visit again. I had a great time. Just beware of certain things. But on the other hand, they say North Korea is dangerous. You shouldn't go there. There's many places in the world which are very touristy, full of tourists, and they're much more dangerous than North Korea. I'm happy to say I've been to North Korea. Yeah. we are on the leaving North Korea. That's a sentence I've never actually seen in my life. And that's China. Or as Donald Trump would say, China. And that was our last North Korean road. And I guess the Chinese border is here. Oh, that's all the people looking into North Korea, but haha, we've been there.